If you keep running into the same problems, bad relationships, feeling stuck, self-sabotaging, all right, bestie, we need to have a chat. It's not bad luck. It's your emotional intelligence that's keeping you there. The good news is emotional intelligence is a skill. So if you're not where you want to be, we can learn our way out of this. We can level up. In this video, I'm so excited about this video because this is a topic I've been meaning to dive into. It's going to really change your life. So today we're going to be talking about emotional intelligence, breaking down what it is, where you are at, and more importantly, how you can level up. Little tip here, this is one of those videos that you really do need to watch until the end because we're going to cover each step in full detail. And then at the end, I'm also going to give you a free resource that you can use if you still feel like you need a little help figuring out where you're at. My cat insists on being in all of my videos. First, what is emotional intelligence? If you haven't heard this before, if this is the first time that you're hearing about EQ, it's not the same thing as your IQ. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your emotions while also being able to read and respond to other people's emotions. And by the way, this is not made up. Emotional intelligence has been studied for decades, and research shows that it's actually more important than your IQ in terms of success. But the thing is, most people don't even know where they stand, let alone how to level up. But not you, because you're subscribed to my channel, I hope. So having a high EQ means better relationships, you bounce back faster from setbacks, and overall you just have a stronger mindset. On the other hand, having low EQ means constantly overreacting, repeating negative patterns, and feeling stuck. This is not just self-help fluff. This is going to affect your life, your career, everything. So let's break down what is the emotional intelligence scale and how can you figure out where you are at. Level 1 is emotionally unaware. This is low EQ. Some of the signs that a person is low EQ, they react instantly without thinking. They feel like life is happening to them, not for them. They're constantly caught up in drama, conflict, or emotional spirals. A low EQ person often blames other people for how they feel, and you'll see a lot of avoiding emotions in general, like distracting themselves, basically anything to do with avoiding confronting their emotions in any way. This includes doom scrolling. So for example, this could look like if you're at work and someone gives you feedback, you immediately take that as criticism and get really defensive. And you may even sit on this thought and replay the conversation like days or weeks on end, obsessing about what happened and how it made you feel instead of learning from it. Lashing out, shutting down, anything like that. How you can move up from this level, you have to start learning how to recognize the patterns. Are the same things triggering you? If so, this is a sign that you're repeating these patterns, and you're gonna wanna practice pausing before you react. And we all know this is so much easier said than done, because when that fight or flight response kicks in and you feel defensive, it can really feel like you have no control over your emotions. But this is a reminder that you do. You just want to learn to pause before you react. Another thing that could really help you get to the next level here is journaling. You could even voice note how you feel into your voice app. Letting out the emotions is going to be so much better than just reacting to them. Level 2 is emotionally reactive. This is what we'd call mid to low EQ. Some of the signs in this level is that the person is starting to recognize the emotion, but still lacks control over them. They're still controlling your behavior. And a person in this level may be able to reflect after the fact. So after an outburst, after reacting or overreacting, they do have this ability to now reflect after the fact, but they still struggle to control their emotions in the moment. Basically, your emotions are still controlling your behavior at this phase, but you're now starting to at least reflect. This person might also feel stuck, like they're trapped in a cycle, and he or she doesn't know how to break them. And also, they're often drained by other people's energies. So for example, you're texting a friend and you get ghosted, and you immediately shut down and go into shaming yourself, thinking, what did I do? I did something wrong. And you just like spiral into this overthinking and feeling of unworthiness. So in this level, how you want to move up, we want to start labeling the emotions because we're now starting to kind of be aware of them. What we want to do now is label them as they come up. So when you start feeling really triggered, name your emotion. I'm feeling jealous, angry, I'm feeling hurt, I'm feeling stressed. You want to shift from being the emotion to identifying that you feel the emotion. So a lot of times people say things like, I'm so pissed, I'm angry, I'm jealous. That is identifying the emotion as you. You are identifying with the emotion. So instead, we want to separate ourselves from the emotion and just identify it as a passing emotion. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling pissed off. I'm feeling jealous. You get the point. Emotional regulation, basically. Deep breathing, being able to walk away before you are going to overreact. So being a little bit more proactive here. Level 3 is emotionally aware. This is mid to high EQ. So this person can recognize emotions in real time and are starting to grasp managing them better. This person doesn't react immediately. Instead, they may take a step back. And now we're in the phase where we're starting to understand that our thoughts shape our emotions. And you can handle conflict without getting defensive and also starting to become aware of the energy that you bring into the situation. Because a lot of times people deflect and blame, and it's so much easier to do that. But as you enter a higher EQ, it's going to become more evident what you are bringing into the situation too. Not just what other people are bringing and not just what other people are doing, but what you are doing and being in the situation. So this is where you start to level up your emotional intelligence. So an example here is, let's say somebody cuts you off in traffic. And I know a lot of people think that this is basically impossible to not overreact to. I mean, I am guilty of this myself. But instead of completely losing your mind, you recognize that it is now a choice for you to react or not. You can simply decide it's a choice. You can move on. Let it go. This takes a lot of practice. This is inner work here. So as you do this more and more, it definitely will become easier. But in this level, this is where we're at. We are now aware that it's a choice. We can decide, we can move on. So how to level up from here is start consciously choosing the type of thoughts that you have and start reframing the situation so that you understand that the situation isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. And just really get more curious about other people's emotions. Like sit with it and try to understand more. Instead of just reacting to emotions, start trying to understand them more. Okay, and then level 4, this is where we ideally all want to be. This is high emotional intelligence, high EQ. Some of the signs that someone has high EQ is they can handle situations really well. They can bounce back from setbacks seemingly right away. This person is really good at regulating their emotions without suppressing them. And they have the ability to understand other people's emotions without actually taking them on. Even if the other person is feeling things like being angry or yelling, like they are able to distance themselves from the situation, from the emotion of the other person. When you have high EQ, you're also really good at not being triggered. Like the person in high EQ is rarely triggered. They just know their worth. They know their foundation, they know who they are, and therefore they're not easily influenced or triggered by other people. They can easily shift into a positive emotion. So for example, let's say you applied for an opportunity, a big opportunity at that, and you didn't get the part, you didn't get the job, you didn't get whatever it is. Instead of spiraling, this person has the ability to process the emotion and move on pretty quickly. So ideally, I know a lot of us would love to be here, right? Like who doesn't want to be here? What we want to do to be able to stay in this is to keep practicing self-awareness daily. It's a daily practice to be able to stay here. Only surround yourself with emotionally intelligent people because who you surround yourself with, as we know, affects you tremendously. So keep doing the mindset work here too. It's meditation, visualizations, all of that. And so here, how to move up is we want to just be really aware of our emotional triggers. This is the guiding light for us. Who and what is triggering you? Why is it triggering you? It all starts with self-awareness, right? If we know what's triggering us and why, we can start to process it and bounce back quickly. The space between your feeling and the action that you take is where your emotional intelligence really grows. So again, the space between feeling and acting is where emotional intelligence grows. You really do have to have a mind-body connection here because you may want that in your mind, but your physical body may be so conditioned a certain way that it's going to take active daily work to rewire your brain in a way. Learning to regulate your emotions, deep breath work, meditation, daily movement also helps you process your emotions. So that's another reason why daily movement is so important among so many other reasons. All of these things are going to help you not react impulsively. So we want to just keep raising our energy, right? Abraham Hicks talks about this a lot, raising your vibration. There's an emotional guidance scale. You can shift from these lower vibrations to higher vibration. So the important thing that I want to close out here saying is that your emotional intelligence can fluctuate on a daily basis, even within minutes or within hours, depending on how you're reacting to situations and how you're processing your emotions. So just because you have high EQ one day doesn't mean that you're going to be high EQ forever. It takes consistent inner work. You might wake up in a high EQ state, but then if something happens that throws you off, and you respond to it in a way that doesn't resemble a high EQ. So let's say you wake up in a high EQ state, right? You're feeling so grateful, you did your journal practice, you're feeling good. And then you open your email and you see a rude email or something very unsettling, and suddenly your vibration drops. That's an example of having high EQ in one moment and then switching into a lower EQ if you respond in that way. If you catch yourself dipping here, what you want to do is just regulate your emotions. You can regulate your emotions, reframe your mindset, and then you can easily shift yourself up. If I'm feeling like I'm taking a dip on the EQ scale, I find it helpful to shift my focus from whatever the cause of that trigger was. Go for a walk, journal, listen to music, just kind of take your attention off of it. The goal isn't to never drop, right? It's gonna happen, things fluctuate, and we're human. So that's not the goal, to not drop in EQ. The goal is to bounce back quicker. It's important to note that high EQ people still experience frustration, self-doubt, or getting irritated. Let's be real. But the difference is they recognize it faster and they have the skill to be able to shift their emotional state intentionally rather than feeling stuck or overwhelmed by their emotions. So like I promised, if you feel like you don't know exactly where you stand and you just want to take this short quiz to help you figure it out, I actually left a free resource in the description box so that you can go through a couple of questions and then it will tell you what EQ you're likely at. I'm curious to know if you do think you know where you stand in your EQ level. Let us know in the comments below. And if you made it to the end of this video, comment down below high vibrations so I know that you watched it till the very end. Don't forget, if you're looking to level up your life and glow up from the inside out, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.